stepping all over me. What are you doing? Gabago.
And hello there, all you stay tuners. Hey, listen, it might be Eagles. I hate the Eagles. Don't get me wrong here. First quarter, keep it even. Second quarter, start running the fucking ball. Third quarter, take a power nap. Fourth quarter, oh shit, there's the rest of the game. Let's go.
Fuck it, I'm a diabetic. I will root for the team that will literally give me diabetes and death. Rooting for a team from Hershey is like a Catholic rooting for Satan. It doesn't make any sense.
This is Stay Tuned Sports, and it starts in 3, 2, 1.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. This is your good friend Jimbo, hashtag Free Dom, with King was here.
Hey.
I see you're dancing like a third string quarterback.
I don't know about that. I might be dancing and singing like the East Coast Brock Purdy right now, ladies and gentlemen. That's our good friend Tommy DeVito. How you doing? How's your family?
I'm thoroughly convinced that that's not his family members, that's not his agents. They're all actors, because there's no way they all look like they're mafia people.
Dude, everybody thought that his agent was like there's no way he dresses like that. There's no way he's actually like that guy. Turns out you go to his socials, that is 1,000% that guy. He is that guy. He dresses like that all the time. That guy is, how you doing?
I'm loving the memes coming out about him. The best one I liked so far was it was going something along the lines of give Tommy 55 million or we walk. And then underneath it says, sir, this is Jersey Mike's.
I did see that one. I've seen that one. I've seen a couple other ones that are like, along those same veins, Hey, listen, we don't want to end up like Hoffa down there in the Meadowlands, do we? All right. I think it's better for everybody involved if, Daniel Jones finds himself other arrangements. You know what I'm saying?
Which is funny.
I love it. I love everything about it. Having grown up and been raised in North Jersey, having to deal with a lot of the North Jersey Italians, and the North Jersey Italians be the first one to tell you, that they're their own special thing, man. They are.
Yeah.
And just seeing that, as a kid from Jersey, he is the quintessential North Jersey Italian, the Italian family. Dad's a plumber. I mean, the mom looks like a straight up Italian mom. He's got now the agent that looks like he assassinated Hyman Roth or tried to. It's such a story, and it's a little bit of a mania right now. And I hear a lot of people, especially in the media around here in the New York area, calling it like, comparing it to Linsanity with the Knicks like a decade ago, however long that was ago.
Yeah.
And like how crazy everybody got and what that was and how that kind of fizzled out. Now, does this happen with him? Does this turn into Linsanity where it's like we've had these couple of weeks of really fun, good football, Giants win 3 games, and then he's going to come crashing back down to earth and it's like, a cute story, but whatever. Or does this continue to snowball and get bigger? Does he continue to play well, improve every week? I don't know. Like I said, he's going to have the tests are coming. The tests are coming.
Yeah, I mean, it won't be against the Eagles, but
because he's got to go on the road to New Orleans this week.
Okay.
In New Orleans, which even New Orleans not being great, it's still a challenge playing in that dome.
Yeah.
The dome is still its own environment, and for a kid being an undrafted rookie, all this other stuff, like it's still going to be a test.
Yeah.
And then comes the Eagles on Christmas Day, and we'll see. Does he? Here's
he's going to put 400 yards on us.
I don't know. I don't know about this, but that Eagles defense. Maybe we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
We will get into that in a second.
Hashtag
But,
free Dom.
Stop it. Stop. As I was discussing with other people, my father, I think I told you, I was like, if he's able to, if Tommy DeVito, old Tommy Cutlets, the passing paisano, as McAfee would call him, if he's able to steal a game, just one of the games from the Eagles in this last stretch here, the conversation around the New York Giants or with the New York Giants fans, and maybe even in, the Giants hallways there, is going to get loud.
Yeah.
Going to get very loud.
But here's the thing, though, is if, to kind of agree with you to a point, if he finishes out the season well, I'm not even going to say great, not going to say like Tom Brady stylish, but just well, you obviously bring him back, some type of contract. I don't know what numbers they would throw at him or whatever. You're not going to bench Daniel Jones right off the bat. You're not going to pay a guy $40 million to sit on the bench. But like me and you agreed about backups. You need a good backup. You look at Cincinnati, you look at Cleveland, which is funny because it's a practice squad player, even though that's the rules. You need a good backup. I mean, even go back to 2017 with the Eagles. Nick Foles was a good backup. If we had Marcus Mariota in there, we would have done shit. We would have been one and done. And
well, you're seeing that, especially this year as we looked across the NFL. And I think both you and I can agree too. Tommy DeVito has played himself into at least the solid, undisputed number 2 quarterback position.
Yeah,
1,000%. I don't think there's a question about that right now. I think Tyrod, listen, thank you for your service. You didn't do shit this year for us except get injured. So whatever.
Yeah.
But don't let the door hit you on the way out. But then again, this is what I mean is that when you look at what the Giants quarterbacks have done this year, like Daniel Jones struggled. And I was one that was saying, like, listen, the offensive line is garbage, and the offensive line is still garbage. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I was like, it was going to be hard for him to do anything behind there. And then I said the same thing with Tyrod. I was like, you're going to put Tyrod in there. People say, oh, put Tyrod in. It's like, you put Tyrod in there. I was like, he's going to get murdered too. He got murdered. Then they put Tommy DeVito in because we didn't have anybody else. So you put Tommy DeVito in, and he gets murdered in the first game against the Cowboys. But he also scores 2 touchdowns. So you're like, oh, he scored 2 touchdowns, but he still got murdered.
Yeah.
Then they played the Commanders. He looked better. He took 9 sacks. So not great. Still, again, garbage offensive line. But you saw something like all of a sudden, like they were able to move the ball. He made some passes that Daniel Jones and Tyrod did not make with that same setup, with the same offensive weapons that he has, with the same shitty offensive line. He was able to move the ball. And then the next game, you see against the Patriots, again, didn't break any records. I think the Giants only scored 1 or 2 touchdowns or something. Like it was a really low-scoring game. It was not great.
Yeah.
But you saw an improvement in his game. He took less sacks, made better decisions, didn't turn the ball over. And that's the same thing with the Commanders game, too. Didn't turn the ball over. Then you see him play against Green Bay, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. Crisp passes, making excellent decisions with the football, smart decisions with the football, hitting his receivers when he had the opportunity to go downfield. That one touchdown he passed that he threw to, I think it was Wan'Dale Robinson in the end zone, right in the corner.
Okay.
Was it him or Hyatt? I can't remember which one it was.
I think it was
when he threw
Wan'Dale.
Right into the corner of the end zone and threw it into the spot where either the receiver was going to catch it or nobody was going to catch it.
Yeah.
And granted, receiver made an absolutely spectacular catch. I think that one was Hyatt. But it's still an incredible play, smart play, veteran play. And then to top all that off, Green Bay, Saquon fumbles the ball. Thanks a lot, Saquon. You didn't really do a lot in that game anyway, except try to fumble the game away. Green Bay scores. They missed a 2-point. By the way, shout out to the Giants defense. Really big step up in that game as well. But because the Giants had 3 takeaways in that game.
Oh, okay. I was watching the red zone the whole
The two
Okay,
games at
so,
once thing,
yeah.
because stop NFL, stop scheduling 2 games at once for Monday night, please. Thank you. Okay. So Green Bay scores. You're like, there's like a minute 30 left or whatever it is, and it's like, I'm already pissed because I'm like, man, we blew this game. We had this game, and we're gonna blow it. Like we blew the Jets game. Like this is, it's frustrating. But instead of that, what do we get? We get Tommy DeVito taking the under, throwing it up, making a smart decision with a football, taking what they give you, moving the ball down the field. And then Wan'Dale Robinson goes off on the right side. Perfect rainbow pass. Boop, right in the basket. And within 4 plays, the Giants are in field goal range.
Yeah.
To the point where they had to try to kill a lot of the clock to get it all the way down. Like, it almost felt like we got down into field goal territory too quickly.
Quick, yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. Like,
Well,
and I think that might be the thing that impressed me the most was that one drive, because it showed something that we haven't seen with the Giants since Eli left, and that's clutch. That's being in a big moment at a big time and actually executing what you're supposed to do. And that kid fucking did it. And again, I didn't know what to do with my hands. I'm like, we came back. We won. Like and I think that's why the Giants fans are so crazy, because we spent this whole season just being like, what an absolute waste of a season. This is terrible. We're supposed to be so much better.
And see, that's why I think DeVito's doing so well, is because going into the season, you guys had so much pressure on the whole team, not just Daniel Jones. Jones did have a lot of pressure on him because of the contract he signed, because of how well he did last year. And once he went down and you guys were stuck with a third string quarterback and we have nothing else to play for, so screw it, we'll just sign in, watch the game, and then go to bed. So this team right now has no pressure on them whatsoever. And I mean, mathematically, even though it's 0.04% or whatever it is, you still have a chance.
That's what ESPN says. I happen to think the percentage is a lot higher. I think we're about a 0.8 or 0.9%.
I would even say, and not to get into this team just yet, but with how Philly's playing, you got about a 20% chance of making the playoffs. Philly has about 75%.
Here's the thing, and I think this is something that all Giants fans need to do. Pump the brakes. Like I want to get excited. Yeah. Like I like. There's every part of me wants to just be like, "You're all Giants are gonna go crazy. We're gonna go." Like, no, we are 1 game back, which is fucking banana lands to think about.
Yeah.
When you think about how this season has gone, it also shows kind of how mediocre the NFL has been this year. So it's a little column A, a little column B.
Yeah.
But winning 3 straight games. Granted, I know people are going to say, well, you won against the Commanders, the Patriots, and the Packers. I can get the argument with the Commanders and the Patriots. There ain't a soul in the world that picked the Giants beating the Packers, because the Packers were a team that seemed to be hitting on all cylinders. They were starting to really get going. It looked like Jordan Love got into his groove. Like he was playing well. That defense was playing a lot better. They just beat the fucking Chiefs, which apparently now doesn't seem to be that big of a deal. We'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah.
To beat the Packers, and then that's the thing I hate, is when people go and flip it, and it's like, oh, there's no way the Giants are going to beat the Packers, and then the Giants beat the Packers, and it's like, yeah, but the Packers are really inconsistent, so it's not. That still really doesn't count. It's like,
but see,
no,
that's the thing is, Jordan Love
still
didn't have a bad game. Like, he didn't have a game like he had a month ago or 2 months ago when he was like, he's definitely not the guy in Green Bay. We got to get rid of him. Like, he didn't have a bad game.
Jordan Love has been playing great.
Yeah,
he has. And he, I don't know, and that's the other thing too. Like he plays in Green Bay in the elements, outdoor in the cold. Like he should know. Like trying to throw he threw one ball that you don't throw in the Meadowlands in winter. You don't do it. Like anybody will tell you that. From anybody who's played in there, Boomer Esiason, Phil Simms, Eli Manning, fucking Danny Cannell, who was a terrible quarterback for the Giants. Anybody who played in the Meadowlands tells you, don't throw that kind of ball when it's windy in the Meadowlands. He threw a ball up there that it was the Goodyear blimp. It stayed up there forever.
Yeah.
And it got picked off. And it's like you have to be smarter, right, than that. If you're, you have to understand your conditions, where you're playing, things like that. And it seems like he was a little lost in that aspect. Not having Christian Watson hurts him, I think.
That was big.
Hurt them big, And even with all of that, they still almost won. Now, some people will say maybe they shouldn't have, maybe they didn't deserve to win, but it's the NFL. This isn't college. It doesn't matter what deserved or not deserved or showy wins or anything like that. Style points. That doesn't matter. All that matters is the W. And the Packers needed that W.
Yeah.
And not to put a fine point on it, Tommy DeVito stole that W from the Packers. Yeah. Right when the Packers thought they stole it from the Giants, DeVito got right back out there, and maybe the most clutch performance that I've seen from the Giants this season, and took that W right back. And I got to tell you, it's you wanna burst out, you want to be excited, but I'm still holding back. And I know New Orleans is going to be the same kind of story this week. I think the Giants are 5.5-point underdogs going into New Orleans. So there's not probably going to be a lot of people that pick the Giants anyway, even with the Derek Carr situation. He's not playing well, and they're not playing well, and all that other kind of nonsense. And if the Giants do go down to New Orleans and they do beat the Saints, the story is still going to be, well, they haven't beat anybody, worthwhile.
Yeah.
Until the week after, then there's going to be something. But I don't have a ton of hope. But compared to 3-4 weeks ago, there's a gleam all of a sudden that's like, maybe a fucking Christmas miracle can happen. Well, maybe a little Dominic the Donkey, Italian Christmas donkey fucking magic can
that
work
donkey
here.
should be shot. I hate that song.
So you don't like Dom? Okay, that's understood. I don't like Dom either. He should be off the field.
Dom the donkey, yeah. But hashtag free Dom. That Dom. He's a good guy. He's a
it's either you hate
citizen.
Dom or you want to free Dom. Pick one. Hey, gabagool.
But you know why DeVito pulled out that win?
Why did he pull out that win?
Because he ripped that son of a bitch.
You can almost see a lot of this like a release of shit from the coaching staff, from everybody. Just what's the old adage? Winning cures all ills.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter how bad a thing. Like when you're losing, it accentuates everything bad. When you win, all that matters is the win.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that, like you see Dable out there that go, what did you tell him? And how was he going? He's like, I didn't have to tell him anything. I just was told him, hey, go out there, rip that son of a bitch. And to his credit, Tommy DeVito went out there and ripped that son of a bitch. And like I said, I'm watching that game fully expecting the Giants to giant. You know what I mean? And it didn't happen. And I think that's the thing, is like every Giant fan was expecting the Giants to giant, and they didn't. And the reason they didn't was because of Tommy DeVito. And so now you have all this pent up energy and aggression and frustration and everything that this season has been. And you just want to now let it out. And the reason you want to let it out is because of what this undrafted quarterback has done for your season, done for your team, where people were screaming at the Giants, don't win any more games, keep losing. We want a number 1 draft pick, to now, hey, do we have Brock Purdy East? Is this the guy we got? Oh, we might have a gem here. So, I don't want to go too far yet. I'm not going all that, far with it yet.
Yeah.
There's still 4 games left. There's still a lot. Do I expect the Giants to make the playoffs? Absolutely not. I don't.
Yeah.
Again, we have to win 4 straight more games, and 2 of those against the Eagles.
Very doable.
Everybody needs to pump the fucking brake. But if Tommy DeVito is able to beat the Saints and beat the Rams, who are also, the Rams are a pretty decent team.
Yeah.
That'll be coming to the middle in that Eagle sandwich there. If he can win those games and steal one from the Eagles, the Giants will still finish below 500. We'll be 8-9. But if he can do that and steal a game from the Eagles, I think that's the big thing. If he wins those 2 games but loses both games to the Eagles, I think it's still okay, good, solid backup, but we're still going to stick with Daniel Jones, or we'll look for an alternative or whatever.
Yeah.
I think if he's able to steal at least one from the Eagles, I think that conversation gets a lot louder. And I think it becomes maybe we build around this kid because he's showing everything that we've wanted out of Daniel Jones. He's showing everything. And the other thing, too, Daniel Jones is always fucking hurt.
Yeah.
I love the guy.
But that's because your offensive line.
I tried to believe in him. I tried to give him a lot of support since we drafted him. But at the end of the day, the best ability you can have as an NFL athlete is availability.
Yeah.
And he's always hurt, whether it was his neck, whether it's his knees, whether it's a concussion, whether it's any of these things. Like, he's been injured a lot. Not nearly as much as Saquon, but he has been. So I think that's something you have to take into consideration too. And I also think that's why his deal, while everybody keeps on talking about the 40 million, it's still a very easy deal for the Giants to kind of get out of, get away from, kind of move on from. It's not a hamstringer.
Yeah.
Like, we're not beholden to him. It's not like a $700 million deal like Shohei Ohtani got. Although
he's only getting $2 million a year.
Did on that is fucking insane. I can't believe that
almost
seems illegal what they're doing, but that's neither here nor there.
But the Daniel Jones one,
all of a sudden, this Giants season got very fucking interesting.
Yeah, that Daniel Jones contract, when he signed it, wasn't it basically like he signed like a 4 or 5 year contract, but it was basically a 2-year deal with the way they set up the money.
It's like a 2-year contract.
Yeah,
it's like a 2-year contract, and like there's the a little bit of the guaranteed money. But again, not enough to hamstring the Giants.
Yeah.
Like, cap wise, it won't really hurt them. And this is the other thing too. Like, in this day and age, you got to be able to know how to finagle the salary cap. You do. Tampa Bay was able to do it when they had Brady down there and they got everybody in there. The Rams did it. You see the Chiefs have done it over the years, but that seems to I don't know what's going on with the Chiefs, but all of a sudden the Chiefs and the Bills, both of them are not.
The Chiefs seem like they were. Chiefs seem like a little off.
They you go into this year and you're thinking, oh, this is the Chiefs, the Bills.
I tried to do a little joke there.
And who? No, I know, but it was a little too subtle and you missed it a little bit, but okay. You missed it by that much.
6 inches.
That much.
Was that
boy, our good friend Kadarius Toney, huh?
Oh boy.
That fucking waxy face scumbag.
Yeah. I even saw one guy call him the ugliest cockroach.
I think the most hilarious thing is I saw a video clip from Monday night showing Tyreek Hill lined up off sides, and you know what he did?
What?
He turned to the ref, looked at the ref, backed up. Why? Because that's what you're supposed to fucking do.
Yeah.
He looked, he saw, he said, wow, my eyes are level with the football. Okay, yeah, and let me back up.
And it came out, Tony did look at the ref to get clarification.
He didn't.
No, yeah, he did.
He looked at the ref and then turned his head immediately. He didn't look to get any clarification. He didn't look at the ref long enough for the ref to say either good or not.
But he did look that way. Like, why? I mean,
he
why
looked that way, but he didn't look at, like, you can't look like that and get a clarification, and that's what he did.
I mean, this is Tony we're talking about. He probably said, "Oh, I saw him raise his hand" or something like that.
No, but that's what I mean. Like,
here's the other thing too: is
you shouldn't need a ref to tell you to move back when you can see that you're even with when your head is even with the football.
Yeah,
you're offsides. You're in the neutral zone.
And that's the other thing too: is a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the foot, it's only a couple inches off." Look at where his head is. That means
what do they say? What do they always say? But here's the other thing: look at the picture. And what I want everybody out there to do is to go find the picture that doesn't have the CBS line on it.
Yeah.
Because what do they always say? The line is not official.
Yes.
That's a television prop. That's not official. Look at where the ball is. Look at where the ball that the center is holding. Look at where that is. And if you look at where that is, his nutsack is offside.
Yeah.
His balls are in the neutral zone. That's too far over.
Yeah.
If he was any far over, the Bills would get a penalty for too many men on defense. He was so far, and that's the other thing people kept on saying. Oh, look at his! It's just a toe. It's just a toe. It's just a toe. No, that line that you saw there, that's not the official line of scrimmage. That's a television prop.
Yeah.
That's not what you're supposed to be looking at. Look at where the fucking ball is in the center's hands.
But even that, you
look at
can't.
where the ball is,
You can't
and
really
then
go off
you
the
look at where
ball.
Kadarius is. He's offsides by a fucking mile.
Yeah. But you really can't go off the ball either, though, because the centers move the ball. Don't on the sidelines they have the markers of okay.
They have the markers, and that's where the refs are. And the center can pick it up and adjust it to get ready for the snap. You know, you lift up the point or do anything like that.
Yeah.
But if you look at where the line is and where the center is holding the ball, you could tell that the line wasn't perfectly matched up.
Yeah.
And again, when it comes to those television graphics, they can get close, but they're never 100%.
Yeah.
And that's why they always say yellow line is not official. You know, and any of the graphs and blue lines, it's not official. It's not official. That's not the official demarcator of what the line is. It helps as the viewer to get an idea of maybe where it is, but that's the point. Is like that's not the official mark. The mark is where the football is, where the officials are, where everybody else is lined up. That's what I mean. People were trying to say, well, look at the Bills player. His head is over the line. Well, that's because that blue line that you're seeing is not the official mark of the line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage is the neutral zone is and has always been in football, the length of the football that the center is holding.
Yeah.
That is the neutral zone. That is the line of scrimmage.
And I'm glad you brought up about the Bills thing too, is a lot of the people I see on X or Twitter, whatever you guys want to call it, when you're trying to say the Bills guy is offside, the camera angle is like 45 degree at the Bills guy. So you're not getting a straight, up and down the line of is he really off or isn't he off? Is he,
Well, no, because you get you have the one view that is straight down the line. You do. And on that one, you can see, and that's the other thing is that you can't on some of the views like that, you can't even see the ball because Kadarius Toney's blocking it.
Well, that video that the fan shared, who was right down the line of scrimmage, you could see the ref have to go to look at the ball. So I mean,
do you think that? I wonder why he threw the flag. I wonder.
Yeah.
Like this is shit that Pee-wee football players know. Yep. This is shit that Pop Warner and high school kids know. Like this is the thing. Like my brother is a certified referee. He referees high school football.
Yeah.
Down in Texas, by the way, where high school football is damn near the NFL in Texas.
Yeah.
So that's high grade. So I'm going to be doing this the whole day. Just I want to let you know. Well, Tommy DeVito action.
And you know what I'm going to be doing the whole day? # free Dom.
Oh, shut the fuck up. But like we had, I find it hilarious because me, you, and him had this conversation in a group chat 2 weeks ago, which is funny that it kind of happened in this one where we were talking about going down the line and asking the official, and I was under the impression that was, oh, you point to the ref will tell you either you're good or move, hit the leg to move back or whatever.
Yeah.
And my brother was there to say, the referee is under no obligation to do that in the first place.
Yeah. Like
once you reach a certain level of play, you're expected to know that. You're that's on you to know whether or not you're lined up right or not.
Yeah.
Now some refs will, if you give a quick point, wait for them to either say yes or no. Like either they won't give you a nod. Sometimes they'll give you a nod, or sometimes they won't give you anything, and that means you're good. Or they'll do the leg tap or something. They'll let you know
some way. Yeah.
But Kadarius, again, he never did that. He never pointed down the line to be like, "Hey, ref, am I good?" He never did anything that somebody said he twisted. He turned his head real quick, which I think was more looking towards the sideline than anything.
Yeah.
And not looking at the ref. And I think that's the issue. And I think that's the problem is, you have to be smarter than that. So everybody say like, oh, well, the ref, you have to do that. The referee said you have to do that, which I was under the impression of 2 weeks ago until I got schooled on it by a fucking certified official.
Yeah.
Who told me and told you that that's not the case. The referee can do that if he feels like it, if that's his thing, but he's under no obligation. It's not in the rule book that says if you point to the ref, he has to tell you whether you're good or not. No, he doesn't.
And even in the post game press conference, I forget what they call it, but they sit down with the refs to ask them questions about the game, and the one reporter did ask about that. Hey, aren't you guys supposed to give him a thumbs up or thumbs down? They said no. That's more of a courtesy that we do to them if they ask.
Right.
You know, it's not a definite. Even the warnings, they said the warnings are not they're more of a courtesy too. You know.
Right. And that's the other thing I heard is that in that, like, if somebody does line up both sides, they won't immediately call it, but they'll say, hey, listen, you need to back the fuck up or I'm throwing a flag next time. Just letting you guys know you can't line up like that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I guess the Chiefs were trying to say, or Andy Reid was trying to say, is that they never got that. They never got hey, listen, you guys lining up both sides. But again, that's not an obligation.
Yeah.
That's not the referees have to tell you that. That's like the referees are like, you're lined up egregiously off sides. And I think that's the other thing too. People were trying to say throughout the whole game, well, he lined up both sides the whole game, but he didn't call it. And if you look at some of the other videos, pictures or videos that people want to cherry pick, like maybe in some of those cases, maybe the toe was over, maybe he leaned over a little bit, but nothing was nearly as egregious as having his ball sack in the neutral zone.
He was teabagging
His
in the neutral
ass
zone.
was on the one end of the football. You can't have that.
Yeah.
You
And
can't have that.
And that was the other thing they said
Again,
in
this is the second time this year that Kadarius Toney has been on everybody's shit list.
Really? 'Cause I thought like every
earlier in
game.
the year, I think he dropped a touchdown pass.
Oh, that's
He dropped
right.
a real big ball and the Chiefs ended up losing.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
might have been Detroit. I think it was the Detroit game. Was it that or a penalty or something? There might have been another penalty thing. I can't remember exactly, but I remember like he was on everybody's shit list. People had the memes of like, this is Patrick Mahomes to Kadarius Toney in the locker room, and it has the guy throwing the guy in a suitcase and throwing him out the door.
Yeah.
Like, so, and again, after this week, they did that. And, you know, then you had the Mahomes complaining, and you had the Andy Reid complaining. And that bothered me because I have a lot of respect for Andy Reid. I love Andy Reid. I know you do too.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for Patrick Mahomes too. And to hear them after that game talk and say the things that they were saying, like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you think that that's the way it should be. But at the end of the day, you can't be that offsides. And the fact that you have a player on your team that thought he could do that and get away with it. And the shame of it all is that steals such a highlight reel play from Travis Kelce, which was, I mean, an absolute, an all-timer. It's an all-timer play. It's a highlight play that should be in the NFL Hall of Fame for the next 100 years.
Which is funny because it's the old hook and ladder play.
It's not even that. I don't even know. Like it's a variation of that. It's a little. I think it's a little different than that. But either way, like what a fantastic play! What a fantastic finish that was, and it got stolen not by the officials.
No,
it got stolen by Kadarius fucking Toney. And also, Chiefs fans, I'm sorry, but you can't go on the internet and complain about the referees saying that they can't make a call like that to end the game.
Oh, where are you going?
Won the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
On a play that, while technically correct,
it was.
A lot of people said you maybe shouldn't have called that play.
Yeah.
So you can't have it both ways. All right.
That penalty was more ticky-tack than his offsides.
And whether you want to say it's ticky-tack or not, by the letter of the book, it was penalty.
Yeah.
If you look at Kadarius Toney, some fans were saying it was ticky-tack because they're going by the toe on the line instead of actually looking at the ball. But be that as it may, even if you think it's ticky-tack, after you won a Super Bowl because of that, you have no room to say anything about it. You don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like you can't have it both ways. But man, what a mess! First of all, what a mess the Bills are. The Bills needed that to try to save their season because they're still.
Well, before we go on, I just want to say one thing about Mahomes. I'm not like I did lose a little respect for him, and not because of his antics on the sidelines or him complaining in the post-game conferences or whatever. I mean, I'm probably one of the few people out there that accepts they're humans. They're gonna show emotions. They're gonna blow up. What bothered me was him going up to Josh Allen and instead of just, you know what, all he had to do is shake his hand and say good game and walk off. That's it.
Yeah.
And you stood there and said 3-4 different times that was the worst call I ever had.
That's
Never
the worst
once
call I've ever seen. That's
Yeah.
the worst call.
like that. Come on, you gotta be you gotta be better. You gotta do better.
But then you see the other end of that where Josh Allen, did you see the one where he dapped up Travis Kelce?
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, that's the greatest play I ever saw. And Travis said, it's the greatest play that'll never count. But
Yeah.
thanks, you know. But again, classier, you know, just like the
Exactly.
right thing to say. You don't sit there and say, oh, what a bullshit call. We should have beat your ass. We would have beaten you if it was for a bad call. Instead of just, you know, like that. And that's, I agree with you on that one. Like my respect for Mahomes and what he does and everything like that dropped a significant amount after that game. Because even if you think that the call was bad, and that's what I mean, him blowing up on the sidelines, that didn't bother me. It's an emotional game. You're on it. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to fault the guy for screaming and yelling if he thinks he's been wronged on the field of play right after it happens. Like, I get it. But like you said, the midfield handshake and then the press conference afterwards, it's like, you know, you have to say, you know, either one way or another, you have to be like, listen, do I think it was the right call? No, but, you know, we still shouldn't have let it be that close. We shouldn't have left it in the referee's hand. We should have done this. We could have done better. Anything like that. You know, that's the proper way to handle that. Even if you don't believe it, even if what you think you're saying is complete bullshit. And a lot of times that's what it is. But you still show that to have that, you know, listen, we're creatures of habit, and we're creatures of you know, like what we like to hear, what seems like, you know, either winning or losing with class, or what seems like whining or anything like that. Whether you think you're right or not, if it sounds like you're bitching and moaning, you're going to get the moniker of being a bitch, of being a whiner.
Yeah.
And right now, and as other people have brought up, with as many calls that have gone the Chiefs' way over the years, you can't do that. Optically, it's bad. It's just a bad look. So, I mean, you take all that into account, like, not a good look. The Chiefs are in trouble, and don't look now. The fucking Broncos are one game behind them, and they already beat them one.
I was gonna say they still got one more game against them too.
They got one more game. I don't know if it's the last game of the year or not. I know they do a lot of division games, so I'm not sure how that breaks down.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the Broncos are one game behind them. They beat them once already. So if they beat them again and tie them, they have the tiebreaker. The Denver Broncos will then be in the lead for the AFC West.
Yeah.
The team that lost 70-10 or whatever the fuck it was. Was it 70-3?
Something like that. Yeah.
I forget the actual score. All I know is that team got 70 fucking dropped on them. They got beat like they were Citadel visiting Alabama. And all of a sudden, they're within striking distance of winning a division. And not only that, but winning the division with the Chiefs in it. That's a problem with the Chiefs, man. There's a problem with the Chiefs. There's a problem with the Bills. All of a sudden, the Browns look like they might be a team again with footsteps Flacco.
Practice squad player. That kills me about that. But, you know, when was the last season that we're going into week 15? Now, granted, there's an extra week this season. We're going to week 15 and only 2 teams are eliminated from the playoffs. Usually by this point, we're talking about teams sitting starters and resting their players for the playoffs, and you can't.
Well, again, this is the third year of the 18th week. So, but even so, the thing is that there's still a lot of teams alive, not because everybody's so good, it's because everybody's so fucking mediocre.
Yeah.
Like, the only teams that are eliminated are 2 of the very worst teams in the NFL, and that's the Patriots and that's the Panthers. Now, the Panthers, they're a mess. Their owner is a mess. That team is a mess. They're just, I don't know if the Panthers will ever, the Panthers might be 5 to 10 years away from getting any kind of rebuild or anything kind of done there, just because they are such in a chaotic situation with David Tepper.
I was going to say, I don't think anything's going to happen with them until he sells that team. He may be the new Daniel Snyder.
Until he either sells the team or he backs off.
Yeah.
And
I can't
I don't
see
think
him
he's
back
going to
off.
back off.
Yeah.
So, and then when you look at the Patriots, and apparently Tom Curran report coming out there of from New England is that after the Germany game with the Colts, Robert Kraft had made the decision, and everybody kind of collectively knows Belichick's gone after the year, apparently.
Do you believe it? Do you believe that there was a conversation with Kraft and his right-hand people to say, you know what, maybe it is time for Bill to go?
Normally, when it comes to these things, I'm like, I want to know more. I want to know who's your sources, who is all this, anything like that. Tom Curran is pretty rock solid when it comes to his reporting on the Patriots or any kind of New England sports, just from his history. And he's well respected, and I feel like he has enough fingers and enough pies up there that he has sources, and he also is the kind of old school kind of sports journalist that's not gonna report something unless he's 1,000% sure that it's a factual story.
Okay.
So what that tells me is that he has he probably has more than two sources separately telling him this. Usually you want to have at least two sources. I think he's got more. And again, I don't think he puts this out there unless he's 1,000% sure. Because again, if you report something like this and you're wrong, it doesn't matter anything you've done in the past, you're instantly discredited.
And that's where I'm a little nervous
ask
about.
Ask Shefty how that goes.
Exactly.
So, and that's what I mean with seeing already in the recent past how things have been done and reported about with Tom Brady in that area. And I think Tom Curran might have been the one that first broke that Brady was leaving. And everybody kind of had this same reaction of, oh, I'm not going to believe it until I see it. And then he fucking left. So with that being said, I'm more inclined to believe that they had a conversation and Kraft said, listen, it's been a fun fucking 23 years or whatever it's been. But, you know it. I know everything runs its course, and just not just with the coaching, but, with the GM and picking Mac Jones didn't work out. Some other draft moves didn't work out. Some trades didn't work out. And the records, over the last couple seasons have not been up to snuff. And that's the other thing too, is when you build a 20-year dynasty of just beyond greatness, having off years, 3 straight off years, you've set the standard to what the standard is the standard. Yeah. As people will often say. And if you don't reach that, even if you're the one who set that standard, you could become a victim of it. And I think that's where we are now with Bill.
See, me personally, I heard everything you said about Tim Curran being basically the Tom. Is Tom? Okay. Being the main reporter there at the Patriots, blah, blah. I'm just nervous because of the past couple of seasons with reporters.
I think it's Tom Curran.
Bigger name reporters, like you said, Shefty with the Tom Brady thing, things like that. And also, if you're going to move on from him, why not? Why have him finish the season? Even, listen to the Pat McAfee show today. They said Gerard Mayo would be the next Patriots head coach. He's on the team now. So why not have Mayo start the head coaching job now? Get used to a system, a routine of how a head coaching situation goes, and you'll be ahead of the game going into next year.
Because first of all, you're not. Because when you get a new head coach, your head coach brings in his own staff. He brings in his own people. You give him an entire offseason to set up his regime
Okay.
to do that. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to be a coach now. I'll coach the last few games and kind of get practice in. Like it's not like you're a player. It's not like you're,
No, but
oh,
I mean,
let's get him a couple reps.
like we saw in Carolina when Frank
That's
Reich
not
got fired. The coach
because that was a bad decision. First of all,
but
that's
the
a terrible decision. They should have at least let Frank put because all you're doing now is, I mean, Bryce Young is ruined. Whether he was good or not to play in the NFL, we don't know. But that kid is ruined now.
Yeah.
And again, I think anybody will tell you that giving a guy fucking 11 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever he had and then firing him, well, why did you fucking hire him in the first place then?
Oh, well, yeah.
Like that was a terrible decision to begin with. But I think going back to New England, I think number one, you never want to have a coaching change in the middle of the season if you can help it. You never want that. Two, the Patriots, again, they've already been eliminated. But for most of the season, again, they had 2 wins or something like that. Like they or 1 win for a lot of the season, but they had 2 wins.
Yeah.
So, you kind of saw the writing on the wall anyway. So what's the point of changing now? You're not saving the season. You're not doing anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and 3 is, again, Bill Belichick gave you 23 years and gave you a 20-year dynasty unmatched in the history of professional sports. Maybe the Celtics of the 60s, but even that is, considering what professional sports were then. And again, that's basketball too. That's a lot different than football. But like doing what the Patriots did over this 20-year span, what they made 14 AFC championships, 10 Super Bowls, 7 times. Like you give that man the deference. You give him his flowers. You let him run out the season, say his goodbyes to the fans, say his goodbye to what he built. That stadium is there because of him and Tom Brady. The brand new additions they made to that stadium are there because of him and Tom Brady. Everything that is New England right now is because of him and Tom Brady. And as much as people want to say, like, oh, it was all clearly look at it was all Brady, it was all Brady, it was all Brady. If Bill Belichick is not the coach there during that 20-year span with Tom Brady, they maybe they have 1 or 2 Super Bowls, but they don't have what they had.
Yeah.
They don't. It was literally both of them. And I will die on that hill. That was both of them.
Well,
so
we kind of saw it. I mean, Brady going to Tampa Bay, okay, first season, boom, Super Bowl. Came back, it wasn't the same team. Like, I mean, they're still good, but they weren't that Super Bowl caliber team that they were the year before.
And so I think if Tom Brady wasn't there, I don't know if Belichick lasts there 20 years. I don't. But also, if Belichick's not there, I don't think we look at Brady as being the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
I think it was a perfect relationship between the two. I think what they were able to build as far as the Patriot way was, again, both of them, because Bill implemented it, but Tom was the one that made everybody buy into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you have to understand is that when you have the coach who wants to do it, and then your quarterback buys into it and makes everybody else buy into it. You saw that happen in Tampa. When Tom went down to Tampa, you heard the players down there say it was an instant culture change.
Yeah.
Because now he's down there. He's the first one in the building. He's watching film. He's trying to get better. It now makes me accountable to myself. It makes me want to be better so that I don't let him down.
Yeah.
And I think that was a lot of the same thing that happened in New England. You have the Patriot way, which was what Bill wanted to implement, and that Brady helped everybody else buy into it. And that's how you build a 20-year dynasty like they did.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, the Giants and the Eagles, the only 2 teams to beat them in the Super Bowl in that run. So, cheers to us. We're part of an elite club, but and again, we'll never see that again in our lifetime. And it might be several lifetimes before somebody or some team even gets close to matching what the Patriots have done.
I don't think it ever happened. Yeah, I don't think it ever happens.
I mean, that's going to be a hell of a feat if somebody can do that. But a good job, Bill. Good job, Tom. And Bill's not done coaching yet. Bill's not done coaching.
I'm pulling for San Diego.
I think I
The
miss.
Chargers.
They need to go back. They
Yeah.
need to go back to fucking San Diego.
That-
Like, listen, LA's not fucking working, guys.
As
When you
I
go to
said
your
that, I was
stadium
like, fuck, wrong city.
and your stadium is 85 to 90% always the other team's fans,
Yeah.
move back to fucking San Diego, will you? Like, fucking Christ, it's
Well-
so bad. But
One last thing I'll say about Bill. I loved him on game day when he put the helmet on.
put the Navy helmet on, yeah.
I was
Well, I
like,
mean, he's
man.
an old Navy man, you know, with
Yeah.
his
But
dad coached Navy.
You got to see a different side of Bill. You didn't get to see that like miserable old looking man.
But this is what makes me, and this is another reason why I buy into the report, because it just, that seems like he's kind of almost relieved of a burden. Like, it seems
Yeah.
like he's just like, I'm just going to enjoy my time up here. I'm just having fun. Oh, Army Navy's here. I'm a Navy man. My dad coached Navy. I'm going to root for Navy. Here's my Navy helmet, you know, and he seems to be a little bit more looser when it comes to just outside interactions and shit like that. So I think, you know, that's, you know, I think that's another sign that he's like, you know, listen, I had a run. No one's ever going to match this. I'm going to go down as the greatest coach of all time. And that is what it is. But
So
I think
if you had unlimited money, would you sign Bill Belichick or Andy Reid?
Andy Reid.
Okay. Because you know, I was looking at someone posted the win-loss records for both of them, and yes, Belichick has more wins, he has more losses, but he also has it was like 5 or 8 more years of coaching than Andy Reid. So I mean, like Reid's close with like the wins, and I'm thinking to myself, if Reid would have started coaching same amount of time as Bill Belichick, I think Andy Reid would be the leader in the wins.
The reason I say this is because Bill Belichick really did only win with Tom Brady.
Yes.
Like when he's with the Browns, you know, they were middling.
Yeah.
When he was with Bledsoe up there for the first couple of years with New England, they were middling.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, he won with Donovan McNabb. He won with Michael Vick. He won with Alex Smith in those first couple of years there in Kansas City. Like, he took over. People forget when he took over, what was that, 2011, 2012? The
Something like
Chiefs
that.
were fucking awful.
Yeah.
But he won with Alex Smith. And then he won with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And you can sit there and say, well, he had good quarterbacks there, but he was able to win with a variety of different quarterbacks who did different things, who had different skill sets. You know, people said Alex Smith was a bust, and he went to Kansas City and basically had a career revival.
Yeah.
There with the Chiefs until they got Mahomes, and then it was like, well, I mean, Mahomes is just ostensibly he was a better quarterback. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, and they put him in, everything changed, and then they shipped him off to Washington, where he had that horrific leg injury and then came back. I mean, the Alex Smith story is still one that kind of tugs at the heartstrings, you know?
Yeah.
But when, like, looking at the body of work, and you bring up that point, would you rather have Belichick, would you have Andy Reid? I'd rather have Andy Reid. I'd rather have Bill Belichick Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But again, I think the job that Andy Reid has been able to do over the course of his career, 2 different teams, with 4 or 5 different quarterbacks that he's had, I think that in itself speaks for itself. So if I'm like building a team and I want my team to be as good as they can be, as quickly as they can be, I think you have to pick Andy Reid.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? To that point, too, it shows Reid knows how to draft quarterbacks. Whereas Bill, let's be honest, he got lucky with Tom. I mean, Tom
Brady was what, the 199th pick in the 6th round? Like, it was, you know,
if it wasn't for Mo Lewis,
he only got in it because of fucking Mo Lewis, almost
asshole.
killing Drew Bledsoe. I remember watching that game. First of all, how Drew Bledsoe went back in the game and tried to play while his spleen was pouring blood into his abdomen. I don't know. But if you ever heard that story, Jesus Christ, Drew Bledsoe almost died.
Yeah.
it's an absolutely insane story. But that's how Tom Brady's career started. Is that somebody had to literally almost murder his quarterback for him to get into the game, and then on top of that, they pulled Brady for the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got hurt or if he just wasn't effective. They pulled him. Drew Bledsoe won that AFC Championship game for them and got them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then they put Brady back in for the Super Bowl. But in that first Super Bowl 36, there was a conversation of who do you start, Tom Brady or Drew Bledsoe? People forget that. People forget that was a legitimate conversation before that Super Bowl. Which is crazy. Imagine how that would have changed history if they had gone with Bledsoe instead of Brady.
We are old because probably the viewers that are watching us right now are probably have to Google who the hell is Drew Bledsoe.
All 5 of them. Hi, everybody. How you doing? We could probably name them individually. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Jackie.
That's my sister-in-law. I don't even think Jackie watches this.
Hi, Lennon.
Yeah, no, we are old, but but we're also, well, I was going to say we're old, but we're also wise, but I don't know.
I don't know about wise.
I don't know about that.
And come February, we're going to feel really, really old. The NHL outdoor game.
Why are we going to feel old?
Freaking Jonas Brothers. We're going to have a bunch of 12-year-olds go, oh my God, it's Nick Jonas. Come on, NHL, do better.
Yeah, we really deserve better than that. Although I will give Joe Jonas credit. And I'll give him credit for this, is that he really he bagged Taylor Swift and Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones. So,
but they're getting a divorce or something now, aren't they? Or
yes, they are. No, okay. and look, he's not with Taylor Swift anymore either. But still, bagged them both. So
I will go on record to say this: I would rather listen to Taylor Swift than the Jonas Brothers.
Oh God, yes, 1,000%. I don't. Maybe it's because I'm with a Swiftie that I've grown to appreciate and like Taylor Swift's music. So. Especially her later stuff, like the earlier stuff, like the country stuff and some of the super pop shit, not so much. But like, I would honestly say from Reputation on, she's got real good shit.
Yeah,
I think when you listen to it a little bit, we get you into it. I think you'd like it. I really do. Especially here's the way you're going to get into Taylor Swift. I'm going to get you into Taylor Swift, and you know how I'm going to do it? I'm
not getting into Taylor Swift.
The metal remixes of her songs.
Well, I did tell you that I would listen to it. If she comes up with a metal record, I'll give it a shot.
Dude, if you go, I'll send you some links after the show to like some of the covers that people have done, some of the metal covers for her songs.
Okay.
And especially from Reputation, because Reputation really is her metal album. It sounds poppy, but apparently she wrote it on an electric guitar. Like she wanted it to be a little bit harder, but she's Taylor Swift, so they popped it up a bit.
Yeah.
But those songs all translate into metal songs. Look What You Made Me Do is a straight up revenge metal song. You put a hard riff behind there, maybe a little screamy vocals. Fuck off, man. That thing fucking rocks. I love it. I'm sorry. Fucking come at me. Come at me, everybody. I don't care. I'm defending Taylor Swift. Go fuck yourself.
So let me ask you, at this stage of the NHL season, if the outdoor game was tomorrow, is the game competitive for either or for both teams, or do you think it's going to be a lopsided for one or the other team?
Right now, I think it's competitive because the Devils don't have a fucking goaltender.
Okay.
We can't stop them. We can score as much as we want, or we can't stop anybody else from fucking scoring. And that's the problem. That's why we're kind of a mid-team right now, is that we're losing games 6-5, 7-6, 4-3. It's like we're scoring the fucking goals, but we can't fucking stop any.
Who's your goaltender majority of the time?
It's honestly pretty evenly split between Vitek and Schmidt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are two from.
Suck. We need to get a goaltender.
There are two from the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We should have gone in the offseason and either looked for a goaltender, maybe looked at drafting one, doing something. We didn't do anything, and now we're stuck kind of in a fly. The thing that sucks is like we have such a high-powered offense. Our offense is world class, maybe one of the best in the NHL. The NHL was talking the Devils up this year. Jack Hughes and Jesus Christ, everybody else. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden.
Is Nico still there? Yeah.
All of that. He's our captain.
That's what I
We
thought.
we have all these fucking tools and all this great offense, and we have the ability. But the problem is like when you have a lot of offense, maybe your defense isn't great. Maybe you leave yourself open when you go on an attack. You don't have anybody there, so you need solid goaltending. You need a good goaltender. We don't have that.
Yeah.
Like we need a goaltender that can make a couple of incredible saves, stand on his head when needed. When you have an offense like that, you have to understand that maybe the defense isn't going to quite be there all the time. So it's kind of a give and take, and that's why you need to get a solid goaltender. We don't have that. I don't know how we get one. I don't know like what we would have to trade to give up to try to get one. And there's nobody like really out there just in the mist, waiting as a free agent. So we're in a real difficult spot when it comes to that, to our goaltending. So,
which is really weird because how you guys ended the season and then going into the season, you guys were supposed to be up there, and we were supposed to be all the bottom.
We were a Stanley Cup favorite. We were one of the ones being talked about, of one of the top 5 or 6 contenders. And I'm like, wow, that's really something. And I think right now we're like 12-10-2 or something. Or like we're really like a fucking middle of the road, middle of the pack team. Your Flyers are fucking killing it.
Which is funny because I'm just sitting back and kind of like with you and the Giants. I'm just sitting back, enjoying the ride, kind of waiting for that other foot to come down and have the Flyers go back to where they're supposed to go.
And it might, but
I'm more enjoying the ride. So when that foot does come down, I can sit back and watch the crazy Flyers fans that in the beginning of the year, oh, we got a tank, we're gonna suck. And then now that we're good, we're good, we're gonna go to the playoffs. And I'm waiting for them to snap out again so I could have a couple chuckles.
Wait, you tell me that Philadelphia fans might be slightly unhinged? No.
Get
it down.
I did try to jump out my basement window during the Eagles game this past Sunday night.
Dude, I got to say, in the group chat, you're fucking insane. Like, you are just the shit you say, like, makes me shake my head. And there ain't nobody in that chat that says otherwise, man. You are fucking insane. But this team, we're not making the playoffs. The Eagles aren't making the playoffs. You're fucking 10-3. Oh, we're not making the playoffs. We're tied for first overall in the conference. Granted, San Francisco has a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
But we're 10-3. We're not making the playoffs. Shut the fuck up. Just stop it. Stop it. That's all.
San Fran's schedule. I know they got Baltimore. And I think the other 3 teams are either average or shitty. Do you think Baltimore beats San Fran?
Right now, I don't think anybody beats San Francisco.
Well,
when they're healthy and they're clicking, kind of like how they are now,
yeah,
I don't think anybody beats them. I don't think anybody beats them.
According to Skip Bayless, Dallas will if they have another shot at them.
Well, Skip Bayless can't get Dallas's dick out of his mouth fast enough to talk. So, but again, as we saw with this week too, Cowboys are legitimate. As much as I hate to say it, as much as I don't want to say it, Cowboys are a legitimate team. And man, your Eagles, that defense is gonna be a problem.
What offensively? What's been the one thing, pretty much in the group chat, I've been clamoring for all year with the Eagles offense? Run. And I didn't know this, but I saw a stat come out. When Philly runs the ball, 20 times a game, Sirianni's like 30-3. When he runs under 20 times a game, he's 3-30. Run the fucking ball.
2 things with that though. One, trying to run in that Cowboys defense, not going to work out great. And 2,
but the few times that we did, Swift was getting 5-6 yards.
Teams don't want to run the ball when they're down. You want to try to make up that point. And when you get down, like they've gotten down in the last couple games against San Francisco and Dallas, you got to start throwing the ball.
Well, I mean, the Dallas game, I think we got put off to the side for a second because of all the turnovers. I mean, Hurts, Brown.
Can't do that either. Can't do that either.
I mean, right there was 21 points, basically. San Fran, I think it would have been a more competitive game if we would have ran the ball. Because, one, you're also keeping your defense off the field, which is your weak point of the team. They're not getting tired. The defense isn't getting, your defense isn't getting tired. You're tiring their defense. I'm not saying run 50 times a game, but like I said about Dak and any quarterback, you cannot have a quarterback pass 40, 50 times a game and expect to win 30-3 or 30, whatever. 30 times, 35 times tops is how much you should pass.
I'll tell you what, that Eagles defense keeps playing the way they're playing.
You know what, maybe I should call Nick Sirianni. Maybe I should say, hey, you don't have to pay me. I'll be a person to give you advice.
Consultant.
There we go.
That's what we're doing for.
And I'm going to tell him, you know what I think the defense needs? Some Dubby. Maybe that will focus them a little bit better.
Well, I got to tell you what, it couldn't hurt. And when you're just getting run over by the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys of all teams, and you're looking out there and you see on the sidelines, they have, what do they got? Gatorade and other stuff like that. And what's Gatorade full of? Sugar. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll give you a little burst, but then you're going to crash. And maybe that's what's happening. Late in these games, the Eagles are just like, oh, man, I don't know. Maybe I got diabetes or something. Bah, like that. You don't want that. You don't want that. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe on the side, maybe they'll keep the Gatorade bottles there because, branding and everything. They have to do that. But inside, I know, they'll know it's Dubby. And Dubby's going to be so much better for them because it has neurofactor. Goes in, helps the brain out, helps the synapses start firing more, which is what they need. Because they got to start recognizing these run plays a lot better. They got to start recognizing these pass plays a lot better because right now they're getting run through like a knife through cake. Yep. And it's very bad for the Eagles right now. So maybe getting some of that Dubby is not bad. And also, listen, here's the other thing. I know they're professional athletes. I know they make millions of dollars. And that's okay. Because even when you are a filthy rich NFL athlete and you go to Dubby.gg and you go and look at all their wonderful products and you go and look at all the flavors they have, which you can even get a nice little flavor pack, a little trial pouch to try out all the different flavors that they have. Even when you have all that money to do that, you still want to be fiscally responsible. You still want to save somebody, right? Right, Jimbo?
Exactly.
I think so. And so if any of the Eagles players want to go to Dubby.gg and get all of that stuff, when they go to check out, right in the promo code, what they're going to do is they're going to put in ST Sports 18, that's ST Sports 18, all capital letters, right there in that promo code box. They're going to get 10% off of their order. We're helping save them money, which maybe they can go out and get another linebacker or two because they fucking need it.
Yes,
and we're helping to save you money because you need to go ahead and get yourself some Dubby. And why do people need to get Dubby, Jimbo?
To do better or be better and do better.
There you go. Be better. Be better. But be better, everybody. Dubby.
And you know what, Kadarius Toney, you might get like 3-4 of these to make sure you're on sides.
I'm going to tell you a secret right now, and maybe the W people will understand this, and hopefully they don't get mad. I don't think there's enough W in the world that'll help that man focus and actually be good at what he does. Like, I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough. Still, W.G. Everybody go.
Anything else we got to talk about?
Zach Wilson got AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
If Dak don't sum up the NFL this year, the AFC and NFC offensive players this week, Zach Wilson and a third-string quarterback.
Let's put a little respect on that name. My God, my goal.
And I do want to shout out probably the only Eagles player that is showing any type of fight this season. Who's boy, it? Jalen Carter.
Oh, the one that you didn't want.
I wanted him from day one.
You said he was going to be a distraction.
I wanted him. No, that was you. You didn't want him.
Let's roll back that tape. I'm going to go find the tape. I'm going to insert it into this video and show everybody.
The only
just tell them to go back and I'm doing it. Don't you dare.
The only thing I was upset about that touchdown with him, but also respect to him. What do I always say about fat men? You get a fat man
Oh, you love
touchdown.
your fat man dances. Yeah,
You need a fat man dance. But he
do
was
the
just
John
like, you know,
Madden thing from the replacements. Yeah.
yeah. But he was just like, we're out of this game. I'm not just here's the ball. Let's go back to the sideline. No dance, no nothing. The old like Barry Sanders type thing.
Oh no, because they were still getting blown out at the time.
Yeah. So kudos to him. He wasn't like Deontay Johnson from the Steelers, whatever it was. They were down like 20 points.
Well, that one guy gave up on a play. But the thing I hate is seeing players like they'll score a touchdown, losing 47-12.
Yeah.
And they'll start, they'll do a little dancing and shit. Like, dude, you're down 40 points. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Assholes. Like, so I give credit for that. When you score and you realize like you're still down, like hand the ball off. Let's go out there. Listen, if you score a touchdown that gets you within 7 points, 3 points, whatever, do your dance. I don't care. But like when you're down 40 points, stop fucking dancing, moron.
I think that's gonna be it for this week.
I think that's it. I mean, again, there was again a lot in the NFL, a lot of injuries. Herbert's out for the year.
Yeah.
How Braden Staley is still not fired, I don't know. What is there anything else quick to touch on? I'm not sure. College football's kind of died down a little bit after the
Florida State.
outrage.
Florida State is suing the playoff committee.
Nonsense, political nonsense.
Yeah.
No, I think that's it for now. We talked a little bit of hockey, talked a little bit of Joe Jonas. I defended Taylor Swift again. I don't know. I think that's about it.
All right. Well, till next week. This is your good friend Jimbo. # free Dom.
Oh, what are we doing? I thought you say it to me. What's going on? Come on, go!
We're out.